Hello and welcome to week 8 of the author strategic journey. And I thought this week I'd switch it up a bit and actually tell you a little bit about myself, because it's all well and good me putting writer, author, coach, and boutique publisher on there, but who the heck am I? So I am somebody who, first and foremost, if you've been following this journey, I'm a reader first before anything else. Then I'm a writer, and I have written everything from newspaper copy, magazine articles, newspaper articles, lots of books. I've been a teacher, an English teacher, and both as English as a first language and English as a second language. And I have been an educator for a very long time. I have written personally almost 20 books, and I have co-authored and been author coach for many others. And we've got several more books coming out. So at the moment, we're around about 25 books that we're going to have done by the middle of this year. And I have at least another 26 books in the pipeline. Some of them are half written, some of them have been outlined. So I am a prolific writer. And I chose to start publishing when I started publishing other people's books, because they kept asking me about who does everything and how can I help them? Because I actually invested in publishing myself after I had been published by another company. And they will remain nameless, but I had to fight for 3 years to get my manuscript back. And this other publisher just wasn't doing what I wanted. That they wanted to water down my voice. So some of the things that you're going to be hearing about today are based on my own journey as a writer, as an author, and as somebody who was published by somebody else, who then actually gave myself permission to invest in myself and publish my own books. And then I've started publishing other people's books for them. So that's the full disclaimer there. And so this week is why paying to publish could be the best decision you make for your book. So the first thing is, we get what we pay for. Those of us who know how to invest, we already know that when we put our money where our mouth is, we tend to get better results. If we say we're going to do a marathon, or we're going to do a sponsored swim or walk or bicycle ride, it holds us accountable. We've invested money in entering, we've got our number, we've got our vest, we've got our swim cap, we've got our jersey, we are going to do it. We've told everybody else we're going to do it, so we do it. We've invested money. When we say we're going to go on a diet, or we're going to lose weight, or we're going to have surgery, if you want to go to that extreme, then we've invested that money and we're going to get those results. And this is the thing of the same kind of logic, yes, different scenario, but when we invest our own money, not only does it make us accountable, but it also allows us to have a bigger amount of control in what it is that we put out there. Now, as I said, I was published by somebody else, but they wanted to water down my voice. And I'm not going to let anybody do that. I give myself permission to be all of who I am. And nobody is going to tell me not to be Dawn. I am Dawn. I am proud of the woman I am. And I give myself full permission to be all of who I am. I think the way I think, and I share the things that I have learned, because I have been through and I have studied and I have researched and I have lived the life I've lived for a reason. And when we allow someone to water down our voice, or actually prevent us from showing up as our true self, we're giving away our power. And the thing about investing in your own book and in the publishing process is you get to keep your power. But not only do you get to keep your power, you get to grow in confidence. You get to choose how far and how fast you grow. Because if you choose the right publisher, that publisher is going to show you and actually work with you on how to achieve everything that you want to achieve at your pace. You might want to go a lot quicker than a traditional publisher will allow you. You might want to go a little bit slower than a traditional publisher will allow you. And the thing is when you're going through that publishing process with a boutique or a hybrid publisher like myself, we're teaching what we're doing. We're showing you the inside out of the publishing process. You get to be a part of it. So you're growing in knowledge, and you are learning something that you'll never learn if you're in a traditional publishing space. And the thing is, and there's always a thing, we know there's always a thing, when we learn, we understand more, and then we get to make informed choices. Now, I'm a big believer in having informed choice, not relying on other people to bamboozle me with technology, or come out with things that are far too complicated, or that they think is too complicated for me to understand. I'm not going to allow that. I want to know what's going on. Yes, some people might think I'm a bit of a control freak, and they wouldn't be far wrong. I like to know. I'm curious more than I'm controlling. And this is the thing, when we do learn and work with a publisher, a hybrid publisher, or boutique publisher, or hopefully not a vanity publisher. And if you want to know the difference between those, there was a session that I did a few weeks back on what's the difference. When you invest in yourself, you give yourself permission to be all of who you are. You give yourself permission and the confidence to say, you know what? I know what I'm talking about. I know I'm good enough. And there's no price that we could put on the fact that we believe in ourselves and we know that we're good enough. And if you believe in yourself and you know your work is good enough, and you know that you have the skills, or you want to learn the skills, and when you've learned it, that you implement it, there's nothing that's going to stop you. And why would you not want to invest in your knowledge and your growth? That's the thing. Why do you not want to invest in yourself? If you're not willing to invest in your own product and your own journey, do you actually believe in yourself enough? Do you believe that however much it is that you're investing, that you'll be able to make back? Because it's not just about the royalties that you're going to be getting back that's going to cover the investment you make. It's the additional clients, it's the speaking engagements, it's the different products that you launch with it. And if you've got a really good publisher like myself, then we will help guide you along that way. We help you develop a strategy, we help you develop the business and the marketing plan, we help you develop your merchandise range, and we show you and we introduce you to lots of different things. So it's all about the belief you have in yourself. So if you don't believe in yourself enough, then it's very likely that you're not going to invest in yourself. But if you do believe in yourself, you are going to put your money where your mouth is. There are far too many people that wax lyrical, in my opinion, and that is just my opinion. It might not be yours, but there we go. The other thing about investing in yourself, and investing in your book, is that you have an intrinsic break-even point. Now, what I mean by that is, this is how much I've invested. Now, depending on your budget and depending on your own personal skills, you might be a very successful business person. You might have quite a bit of money to invest, and depending on how much you are willing to invest, or that you have available to invest, you will know what that is. And that's all intrinsic to you. That's an internal goal. I've invested, let's just make the numbers easy. I've invested 10,000 in my book. Therefore, if I'm selling courses for, say, 5,000, or a client pays me 10 grand a month, how many clients is my book going to help me get? How many merchandise items do I have to sell by that? You can already start to do the numbers. But again, it comes back to the belief in yourself. How much belief do you have in yourself that you can actually make your own break-even point? It might not be clients that you're looking to get. It might be the knowledge. It might be the fact that your dream of having your book published is your intrinsic break-even point. Nobody can tell you what that is other than you. And that is something that you really should be sharing with your publisher. And it also shows you how much effort you need to put in. So if you want to be up close and personal, so some of my clients, they work very, very closely with me on the whole publishing process, what's involved, how they set everything up, how things are typeset, how we put the dinkus in, how we're doing the graphics, the color and the font hierarchy. And they're with us all the way through. There are some clients that just say, right, I just want it published. Here we go, here are the bits, and then we publish. Some of them are under their own brand, some of them are under my brand. But again, it's really your intrinsic break-even point isn't just about the money. It's about your learning. It's about your involvement. It's about your personal growth. And also it could be about the sales that you want to make back to actually get that investment back. But if you're not, if you don't believe in yourself and your abilities to break even, then there's some internal work that needs to be done. And again, that's one of the reasons why I work closely with clients on a one-to-one basis, whether that's on helping them research and get the book written, or actually helping them break down the barriers that they have to growing an author business. Again, it's your desired return on investment. And when you look at all of it, is it a combination of the sales? Is it the combination of the speaking engagement, the dreams coming true, the family heirloom? Is it the legacy? Is it the fact that it's bringing in additional clients? What is your own intrinsic break-even point? And is it worth you investing in yourself? Only you can answer that question. I believe in myself, which is why I publish. I am not going to wait for somebody else to give me permission to know that I'm good enough, because I already know I am. Okay. This is something that I probably just touched on a little bit here. The amount of input you have in the look and feel of your book, as well as the marketing, the merchandising, and how you want your life to look and feel. Because the thing is that if you've already got a brand that's already strong and developed, it might be that you want to use those brand colors, but you're not quite sure how to use it. It might be that, for example, with a lady that I worked with, Crystal Richardson, on her public speaking book, this was about, giving people the courage to own and speak, own their voice and use their voice to actually create great impact in the world. Whether that was a business event, whether that was an argument in the courtroom as a lawyer, whether that was a student presenting their theses, or an endpoint assessment if they're doing like apprenticeships. It was all about people using their voice and actually speaking up for themselves, whether it's a job interview as well. And so she had particular images that she wanted to use, she had particular colors, and it was down to us to actually work with her to actually figure out the type hierarchy, the right kind of font, and providing her with the branding guidelines for the book. And it was also about us looking at how we could, she wanted it to be more of a workbook, but because of the amount of blank space that we had in the pages, because there were some workbook pages there, we had to be very creative on how it got published. And again, it was these are some of the things that people they're not aware of. Is that how can we publish workbook style books and make sure that the graphics that are in there are the right graphics? Because we open some books and we're like, really, seriously, did someone just print a Word document? Don't do it. Please just don't do it. Just make sure your manuscript is properly typeset. And this is the thing, it's like looking at the way in which the book feels for the reader and the experience that the reader gets when they open those pages. Is the name of the author at the top of a page? Is the name of the book at the top of the page? Are the page numbers there? Is there a chapter title? Is there proper indexing and proper contents pages? Are there footnotes? Are there references? Is there a bibliography? All of these things really do matter. And it doesn't matter whether it's a work of fiction or whether it's a work of non-fiction. If you have got names from different places around the world, or you've got maps, like for example, Nath Bry, who writes with me, he has written the Demok Chu series, and he has the world, he has maps of the lands that he's created, he has a glossary of terms, and we have character names and how to pronounce them. And we've also, now he's got to his third book, we've got elements of his first and second book in the third book, and we're republishing books 1 and 2 to include elements of the other books. So there's always that add-on, there's that sell, and that extra promotion of what else he's doing. These are some of the things that when you're working with a professional publisher, you will be understanding them, how to insert the maps, where to insert them. Maybe you want to have a dinkus. I would actually recommend a dinkus in the middle of paragraphs or at the beginning of a chapter, a motif. And there's a way in which you lay out a book and you put the branding elements into the typesetting. And this is the thing, is that how do you bring in all of your branding and all of your goals and your dreams? And if you've got a vision board, how do you bring all of that together? How are you making that full jigsaw puzzle of everything that you've ever wanted to achieve? Is it through the marketing or the merchandising? And how do you want your life to look and feel? I've just been traveling around the world nonstop for 7 years. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was stuck in an office somewhere or working for a corporate client, or and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I'd been published by a traditional publisher. Again, question traditional systems. You'll see it in the top corner of these slides. Question traditional systems. Question the way in which traditional publishers are making you live your author life. Remember, when they buy your manuscript, because they're not giving you a royalty advance, they're buying your manuscript. They're effectively giving you an employment. And although that might be great for some people because they want that prestige, they want that security, but will they commission another book from you? Is your book going to sell enough? The only way you can make sure that your book sells enough is if you are the driving force behind it. And that's why I say your destiny belongs to you, nobody else. So if you really truly believe in yourself and you know exactly what it is you want, then it's probably best you invest in yourself and invest in a very good publisher. Step 5 is something that you've heard me just talking about the typesetting. Now, there has been a number of books that I've picked up, and I was like, there's been no care and attention. There's been no respect for the reader. There's been no respect for the time and effort that this person has invested in writing the book. It was just basically a Word document with errors, no formatting. Um, it was horrendous. And the cover was, I mean, you don't really want to see a book cover that I've designed. You really don't. I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And when Jerry works his magic on my book covers, I know how to tell him, tweak that, don't like that font. We need something a little bit more like, on this. But this book cover was just, I would expect a year 9 student to do better. And this was a successful businessman. He might have been successful, but he completely disrespected his readers and the people that had bought the book. I was shocked that somebody of his caliber and reputation had produced something so poor. And that's the thing. It's like, now I would never work with him, because if that's a level of quality of his book, and the respect he has for the reader, then I don't want to be working with anybody like that. And that's some of the things that you will need to consider, because that's a very costly mistake that he made. That's probably cost him, well, it's cost him my business. And I know that others in the room at the time who saw the book and opened up the book, they were also very disappointed. And just in the table that I sat on, there was 10 people on the table I sat on. And he was trying to sell a course for £10,000 each, and he lost £80,000 on that table that night, just because he had cut corners and he didn't take the time out to hire a proper publisher. And it's a penguin. He hadn't taken the time to hire a proper publisher, and he hadn't put the care and attention into the manuscript that it deserved. And nobody was interested in buying from him. The other two were sat on the fence. Good luck to them. But the other thing is that if you are writing a book and you have made mistakes in there, you haven't put a footnote, you're making claims, but you haven't cited or haven't put evidence, then is that costing you your credibility? When you're working with a decent publisher and a professional publisher like myself, my team and we were going, okay, well, I want evidence for this. You can't just make a claim. We need to see evidence. You need to back it up. And for example, with Nath, because he's now on book 3 of the DMOC Choose series, and the third book is about one of the main characters from the first book, we've got to make sure the red threads of the story are linking through. We're also making sure that some of the red threads in this main character's life, Slave Alone, Stuna, we're making sure that we're putting the seeds of book 4 and book 5 in, but we have to make sure that that carries through the manuscript. And that's what happens when you're working with a professional team. those of you who know about investing in business, you will know that when you invest in a team of people who know what they're doing, it saves you the time for you to free up. So, for example, I have this wonderful VA who helps me. That she gives me headspace. She allows me to focus on driving my business forward, working on my business. And she allows me the time that the task that she takes on for me allows me to get on with other things. I wouldn't be without Linda or Jerry or Marilyn or any of my other team members. Or I mean, Khaled is like, oh my goodness. And this thing, when we're building a team around us and we've got these professionals working with us, then it allows us to free up our time to focus on what we're great at. So we get to choose, right? Is publishing your being so hands-on and making the mistakes of using Kindle Direct Publishing or one of the other self-publishing platforms. Have you got the skills? Do you have the time? Or is your time best spent focusing on your area of genius? And only you really get to figure that out. The other thing that your publisher should be doing is protecting you from legal pitfalls. So, for example, if you've included a quote in the book from somebody and the person who you've quoted wasn't the original person, it might be that the person who was the original actually then takes you to court and sues you for misappropriation. There is a couple of cases where I've refused to work with somebody. I've worked with them on getting the book to where it needed to be. And one gentleman refused to remove copyright infringements and some plagiarism. I was like, I'm not publishing while this is still in there. We ended up going our separate ways. Because the thing is, with a publisher, not only are we there to protect ourselves, but we're there to protect you, and we're there to protect the reader from misinformation. And we all know there's a lot of that going around at the moment. And when you're working with a professional team of publishers, you might be great at design, you might be great at typesetting, and you might have figured out all of the platforms to upload a fantastic looking book. But if there are infringements within your book or copyright issues, or there are or you haven't used citations and referencing, or you haven't picked up on all of those threads, then you could be ending up in a courtroom, and that's going to cost you a lot more than publishing with a professional in the first place. If you're working on some fiction books and you're presenting stories, how are you presenting those stories? Are you have you I mean, some people, I'm thinking like with AI, some people are actually putting nowadays, and this is crazy because again, you've got, when you're working with a publisher, it's like rights, and there's things such as, are your rights enabled or are they not enabled? And again, it's, you're asserting your rights for people to protect your content, because once, for example, if you upload your book onto Kindle Direct Publishing and you put lots of pages on there for people to read through, people can actually scan those, and then if your book has done really well, they can then get AI to write a book in your style, in your voice, and you need to be protected from that. There are other things such as your rights for translations, and you also want to be making sure that your book or your story, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, how are you translating that? What are your rights within that? Do you have guides to help you get into bookstores, get into schools? Are you presenting for example, if you've got a fiction book, like with Amanda, who works with me on the Sin Eater, we've got a second book coming out, Seven Feathers, later this year. Her books are aimed at, the first one, Sin Eater, is aimed at the teenage market and young adult. We want to get that book into schools, but we want to make sure for her that the audience is correct. And so working with the publishers like myself, we go through that with you. It's not just down to her to get them into schools. she came to me from a previous publisher because that publisher wasn't doing what they needed to, they weren't doing what she wanted, but she wasn't allowed to market. And so we're working on this this distribution through schools. But again, what is the content? Does it need trigger warnings? What about the disclaimers? Are you positioning the stories or writing the information in such a way that is going to protect the reader? So, for example, with A Life to Thrive that I worked on with Debbie, which was about the reasons women try and take their own life by suicide, and the Man Up book with Tough to Talk about why men end up with mental health issues and their attempts to take their own life by suicide. There were certain things in there that we could write, but there are certain things we had to change. We could not write them in certain ways. And hiring a professional team from a publishing company will actually make sure that you're protected. The other great thing about working with a publisher, and instead of working with a big traditional publisher and investing in the publishing processes rather than doing everything yourself, is the publisher will have a vast array of networks and contacts that you can tap into, which will expand your brand, which will expand your reach, and it will multiply the opportunities that are sent your way. So, for example, when people work with me, there are always opportunities for podcasts that I'll introduce them to, or I'm introducing them to other people and getting them to network with each other or collaborate, bringing people together, and those kind of things. We hear of it called OPPs, other people's platforms. So it's about making sure that we all come together and make sure that we take care. Those of us who care about literature and care about our clients and the readers will make sure that we get you in the right places. We may not have the clout that publishers such as Penguin have, but then I'm nowhere near as old as Penguin, and neither is my business. But when I get to that, I hope I never get to 187. I think it's 187 that Penguin have been going. I hope I never get to that age. Oh my God, I'll be a pile of dust, or I might be fish food by then. I would definitely be fish food by then. But again, it's making sure that the person that you're working with not only has access and to those networks, but is actually promoting you in the right way. Where are they sending out the press release when they publish you? Because for us, we don't just publish, we do the press releases, we provide you with the marketing assets, we're providing you with all of the essentials that you need, and we're training you to write things yourself, so that you have the confidence and the courage to go out after additional opportunities. So there's a lot that a good publisher will actually do. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that are absolutely horrendous. I've worked with a number of clients where they have self-published, or they've worked with KDP, or they've worked with other publishing companies. And I can tell you this for nothing, that if I ever met some of those publishers, I think I might just slap them, because it's just not necessary to treat people in that way. So, for example, I've got an anthology that's coming out at the moment. One of the authors in the anthology, she's not ready to go live yet. So it would be remiss of me for us to publish right now. There's another client that I'm working with, and we need to help build an audience. So it's about making sure that you are ready rather than you just going out there. We've got to make sure that you have the right tools and the right assets ready for you to publish. Step 7. We're nearly there. Remember, when you hire a publisher, when you invest, you're not just investing in your book, you're building a team of people around you. You are building that support network. You are taking the pressure off you. They are working with you, not necessarily working for you. You're not employing them, but they are working for you in the sense that they are working for your greatness. They want you to be great. We want you to be celebrated. And when you're looking at the bigger picture, you're going to be surrounded by a team of people. And some of them might be invisible, in the sense that, you'll never see them, but you'll be experiencing them. Because, for example, if you worked with me, I'd be your main point of contact. You might speak to Khalid, you might get to speak with Rodrigo, who does all the social media ads for us, and all the Google ad campaigns. It might be that you'll speak to, you might receive emails from Tai. And so, for example, you have all of these people around you helping you to build your business, and your systems and your merchandising, and work with you on your ad campaigns. So again, it's a much larger vehicle for you to focus on what it is that you're good at, but actually allowing us to help you reach the larger marketing avenues and the opportunities. So for example, if I'm posting something on social media, I'll tag my clients, I promote them. And it's so you're reaching a different platform, you're reaching other people, you're reaching new audiences, and you're gaining new customers. Now, there are going to be some publishers out there that tell you, well, you need this accolade, apply for this award and do this. But have you got the infrastructure around you? Have you got that infrastructure in place for you to actually go and achieve everything that you want to achieve? When you're working with somebody like me, who's bringing to the table almost 30 years of business entrepreneurship with experience with her, we're making sure that you've got everything in place, ready for you to launch. Have you got your calendar system set up? Have you got your social media audiences? Have you got your work processes, your invoicing system? Have you got all of these things? Have you got your sales and marketing plan in place? Have you got your finance application, your business plan? All of these things we make sure, and a good publisher, well, a great publisher will make sure that you have all of that as part of your team, so that we can go, right, okay, if this is what you want to achieve, let's get you in here. This is what you want to achieve. For example, Amanda, the author of Sin Eater and Seven Feathers, she's a fantastic illustrator. And so now we use her for illustration work, and we're looking at how we can capitalize on her illustration skills. Again, these are some of the things that we're looking at, because it's not just you and your book it's not just you paying to publish your book. You are investing in something much greater if you work with a great publisher. There are lots that will rip you off. They'll just take your money, publish it, and then thank you, ma'am. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am, as the phrase go. We're not like that at DBI. We care about our clients. We're building a family of authors, and we're making sure that everybody is ready, and there are opportunities that come to your way, and we're making sure you know about them. Like I said, we work with you, and that's what a great publisher should do. And that is why all of those things I've mentioned today is why it's better for you to invest in yourself, to believe in yourself, and have confidence in yourself that you can at least break even, but that you can make money from this, and you can make your success out of this, and that you can build a life around this. Here I am with the company that I've got, with people, some of my team I've never met in person. You know, they've been with me the whole nine years I've been in business. And yes, there are some publishers out there that have lots of books on there, but have a look at the quality. How have they done it? What is their format? What are they giving you? How are they helping you grow? And how are they setting your mind at ease when you're actually going? One of my clients said, because of my contracts, that was one of the reasons why she chose me. You know, are the contracts strong? Are they in place? Are they protecting both you and the publisher? Because if anything happens to the publisher, what happens to your book? I even help you prepare, you know, what happens after your book. You know, what happens to your book and the royalties and the copyright if you pass away. I have all the documentation ready for that. That's the kind of stuff that you get from a very good, reputable publisher like myself that you might not get from other publishers. So this is the thing that I want you to be very careful of when you're choosing a publisher. How are things laid out? How are you protected? How are you supported? How are they helping you to be the person that you truly want to be? Because that's what it's all about. It's not about the publisher. It's not about the profit. It's about the author and the reader. The reader obviously is the most important, because what they're doing is they're they're spending time with you. They are going to be recommending you. So we need to make sure that their experience is top notch. And then it's you that comes second, because this is your life. This is, if your book does really well and you have produced something really great, then you're going to want to produce another book. If the process is enjoyable, you are going to want to keep going. It might just be a one-off book, but done properly, I doubt it. So that's it from me today. Thank you so much. Well, that's the, oh, can't see my lovely picture. That's a picture of me saying thank you. So that's there. But we also have the remember, if you do want to follow up with me and you do want to have a I just want to make sure that you can I hope that you can see that the Dawn Bates International calendar there. For 45 minutes, I will go through your author strategy with you, help you understand what it is that you want. I'll be there to answer any questions for you. Again, this is me just giving back to you because I know how important this journey is. So if you want to book 45 minutes with me, I've got one appointment on the 3rd of March at 10, and another one on Tuesday. So that's okay. Maybe I've got several on March the 11th, and I've got 4 on March the 10th. So if there are any of those dates that you have got on Thursday, I've only got one on Friday. Good job, it's not Friday the 13th, hey. So I've got 2 there. So you can see Monday is a good day. Monday the 17th, the day before my dad's birthday. There we go, 18th of March, Dad. I've only got 3 appointments. So there we go. If you'd like to join me for that, then please do join me for one of those. And just very quickly, I'm going to show you my author course. If there are any of you out there that know that you really want to invest in yourself, then if you visit dawnbates.com 7-week author course, I'm actually going to be running this as a 12-week program. And after each module, where we're going to be going live with so week 1 would be module 1. We'll be getting together for 2 hours to introduce each other, and we'll be going through module 1, which is mastering the art of book writing, and really unlocking your voice and owning it. And you'll be able to go through each of the modules. And then module 2 is all about you creating your vision, and how you actually go about doing that. Then it's Show Me the Money, where we're looking at building the business. We're looking at building a profitable life for you. And then how you can live and love your life your way. And like I said, going on there, designing the dream life. It builds onto the vision, but it's about creating it rather than just planning it out. And then module 5 is about looking at the environment, not just the environment that we are physically in, but also the environment in your head, in your body, and in your surrounding space. That's a very powerful module. Then in module 6, we're looking at more than just money. We're looking at what's possible. What's your legacy, the limiting, breaking through the limiting beliefs, calculating time and effort, money saved. And then in the final week, we'll be looking at what's next for you. In between each of those weeks, you will find that we will be doing what I'm calling freestyling in the buffer zone. So you will actually have the opportunity, if you are a week behind, we'll be catching up. But it's a great time for us to start networking, really getting to know each other and collaborating together. So go to the 7-week author course page on dawnbates.com. Tai will be sending you out the recording if you've not made it today. For those of you who are watching on YouTube or the other platforms, make sure that if you have been watching this and you've got any questions, either book into the free author strategy session with me. And if you'd like to join me for 12 weeks with the 7-week author course over 12 weeks, where we get to freestyle in the buffer zone, then you've got those options there. But thank you very much for everybody who is watching. I really do appreciate you being here and for taking the time to spend with me, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much. Ciao for now.